Hello, welcome to the short Vort on a double parsha, Acharei Mos and Kedoshim. Today we're going to have two different Torah, one from the Ben Ish Chai, Rabbi Yosef Chaim of Baghdad, 1832 to 1909, and then we're going to have a shorter piece from the Sabah of Slobodka, Rabbi Yosef Yozel Horowitz, 1847 to 1919. We're going to start with Parshas Kedoshim, Perak Yutes, Pasuk Yud Zayin. It says, "Hocheach tochiach es hanisecha." You shall reprove your fellow, v'lo sisa alav chet, and you will not bear sin because of him. The Ben Ish Chai asks, why the double language of hocheach tochiach? Why don't you just say reprove the person? Why this double language? He answers by sharing a story. There was once a person who was convicted of theft and sentenced to hanging. He told them that I accept that this is my justice, that I have to be killed, but I think that I need to speak to the king because I have a wisdom for the world that if I'm killed without the world knowing about it, it'll be a big loss for the world. So it was presented before the king, and the king was intrigued. It piqued his interest, and he said, all right, what is this great wisdom that you have? The thief answered, he says, I know how to take a seed and make it so that in half an hour, it'll grow into a fully developed, beautiful tree. So the king thought, well, that's definitely something worthy. So I will delay your sentence to death after you show us how this is done. So the thief was given fruits and what he needed to make concoctions and potions. He did his work, and then he said, okay, I'm ready. I have a fruit that I'm ready to plant its seed. Problem is, it won't work if someone who has stolen at some point in their life, they can't plant the seed and get this type of miracle. So I nominate the viceroy, the second in command, that he should plant it. The viceroy deferred, and he says, I think there was some point when I was younger that I took something that wasn't mine, so I can't plant it either. So he said, what about the treasurer? And the treasurer says, well, maybe during my my job, but there were times where I wasn't so careful, and maybe some things were misappropriated from the treasury. There was miscalculation, so I can't plant it either. And they went through all the officers of the court, and everyone had at some point in their life stolen. So the thief said, okay, so the king, you can plant it. The king said, you know what? I coveted my father's diamond chain, which I guess means that he took it, and I can't plant either. At that point, the thief says, he bowed down and he started bursting out in tears and pleaded. He said, look, every one of you has sinned at some point and has stolen at some point in your life. I stole because I needed to feed my family. You had no justification. You just wanted the money, the value, the item. Please don't kill me. And the king accepted his logic, and he freed them. That same thing happens with us. When a person gets angry at his friend and he wants to scream at him, he wants to reprove him, either way. So what he first should do is the person should think, right, there are times I've done things that Hashem didn't want me to do. And how did Hashem act? Hashem was patient, allowed me the opportunity to do tshuva, did not get upset at me. And therefore, I should act the same way as a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and I shouldn't get upset at the other person. I should actually forbid him. So that's what it's telling us, hocheach tochiach, that when you want to reprove hocheach, when you want to reprove someone who gets you angry and you want to get upset at them, tochiach, think about your own reproof for yourself, that there are times when you deserved to be punished, yet Hashem was patient. And because of this, you won't get upset, you won't lose your temper with this person. And then the pasuk says, "Shelo tisa alav chet," since you're not going to scream at him, not get upset, you won't have a sin either. You won't bear sin because of him. Moving back to Acharei Mos, so the Sabah from Navardak had a pet peeve. We're talking here about Yom Kippur topics, about Vidoy, and the author from Navardak would get upset at people that when they would do Vidoy, they would bang on their chest. They were just going through the motions through habit, but they weren't sincere. They didn't do anything to uproot the sin itself. They were just going through the motions. So he said, that's not what needs to be done. So he compares it. He gives a parable about a person who got onto a ship, and the ship was heading west. And then the gentleman realized that, wait a minute, I need to go east. How is he going to solve this? He turns around and he plants his feet going towards the east and starts walking that way. That's not going to help him get what he wants. So we see here that simulations are not the same as the real things. You have to do something that's transformative. You have to turn the ship around. You have to turn your midos around and do tshuva gemura. So thank you for listening. Have a wonderful week and a wonderful Shabbos. Like, share, and subscribe.